Okay. Hello, welcome to Shopcast. I'm Griffin. This is Sam. There's Will. Uh, Braves. Braves don't look like they should. That's my commentary. Um, they.
This.
Yeah. We. Normally we cover every series, um, but we've kind of fallen behind, and so in this episode um, I don't know. We're just gonna kind of talk generally and talk about whatever we want about the Cubs and the Rangers series, and two Mets games have gone by now. The second game of the doubleheader is going on right now as we speak,
Mm.
and Kyle has already given up two. Um, yeah. So, and this or he just disappeared. Great. Um, so we finally got our first series win. Um,
Mm.
against the Cubs, which we're finally starting to kind of look like ourselves there. Second game was pretty disappointing to me because we lost to them on their bullpen day, and their bullpen's not terrible, but still just
Mm.
um, again, Charlie is just not himself right now, and that was his game. And normally you look at the matchups and you see Charlie Morton versus a bullpen, and you're pretty confident, especially with the bullpen that we
Mm.
have. Um, but it's not the case. Um, but third game looked really good again. Really attacked old teammate Drew Smiley, and
Mm.
straight to the Rangers. Also looked really good that game. Right out the gate, getting two in the first inning and just kind of pounding it from there. Um, there's just no consistency with this team.
Mm.
Um, we have only won one series. We've tied two series, and we've lost four series, four or five. Um, and now going into the Mets series, we are 1-1 right now. Not off to a great start in the third game for some pretty big games, but yeah. Congratulations to Will on finally watching baseball for the first time this year.
Bill?
He very secretly had not watched a single game until the Cubs series. So
Fair. Yeah, that's very true.
he's if you
Some of
wanna,
us get busy. So
yeah, yeah. If anybody wants to direct their fraud and phony um, remarks, please direct them in Will's way. But
I'm used to it. It's okay. It's
mhm.
okay.
Um, Well, what did you see from this being your first series back? What did you see from the Cubs series? Just the Cubs series alone.
I have to think back on the Cubs series. I remember Ozzy wasn't great. Thought that was I think he went 0 for 5 the first game or like 0 for 3. I just
He went
remember he
0 for
did
5 in the
poorly one game.
second game when we lost.
Oh,
He
Yeah.
okay.
went 2 for 4 in the
Um,
first game, and then 0 for 4 in the
that's
third
right.
game.
Yeah, I just remember being disappointed with that. Um, sorry, that was like a week ago or so, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
like trying to remember too. Um, the other thing is I also don't think the Cubs are a bad team. I really don't. I think they're going to be one of those teams that like hover around. They're going to be the classic Phillies where they just hover like 3 or 4 games above or below 500.
Mm-hmm.
The classic Phillies season. So like, I don't think. So I do. What I guess what I'm trying to say is like I think a series went over them is a. I think it is a big deal. Just because like winning any series in baseball is tough. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I was disappointed by Ozzy, but then obviously like Travis Demeritte. sort of a stud. Sorry, I had to step away for a moment, so I don't know if I'm reiterating what you all have said, but
No,
yeah,
we've gotten into it too much.
right, yeah. But those were just like the main things that stood out to me.
Yeah, there's just like I've talked about in basically every episode so far this year. It's like there's at least one game per series, and sometimes it's or in all of our 3 game series, it's really been the only one that we won. But there's just been one game each series where we look really good, like a really, really good team. And that was this one. And I mean, we looked really good in the third one as well. But I think this was the game. Uh, so Demeritte got his homer. He also got that sliding catch. And then Duvall, we had that double play put out that was Duvall to Swanson to Olsen to tag out whoever that was. Just everything was seeming to work out pretty well.
Mhm.
And yeah, I want to say I feel like, I mean, there's been a number of games where you can tell that we've lost in the first 2 innings.
Yeah.
And I kind of saw that in game 2. And then also in game 3 of the Rangers series, but that was also like because they scored like 7 runs in the first 3 innings. But we have been battling back sometimes, usually to no avail, but did get that Mets win when we were behind
Yeah.
most of the game yesterday. Um,
Yeah, I was gonna say it does feel like I don't know if Ronnie's like the spark plug or not, but it seems like they're actually starting to not like let go of games earlier on, um, which is good, obviously. Uh, but would like to see a lot more in general. Like I feel like we're all kind of on the same page where things just aren't going super well right now, and it's awfully reminiscent of like last season where it's just like 3 4 games under 500 literally at all times, and or 500. Like if we don't get there soon, I'm gonna have terrible flashbacks. But obviously last season ended super well. But yeah, I feel like that battle back has been a little better.
yeah, it's very difficult to. It just keeps seeming like deja vu to
Mm.
last season,
Yes. Yes.
where I mean I just want to say the same thing every time, which is like it's I get roped in, I get pulled in, and I'm like energized and hopeful, and then
Mm.
get that bashed over my head the very next game, and it's just like I'm looking at a completely different team. And I understand that's how baseball works. Like you could have, like a team like the Dodgers is going to lose a game to the Diamondbacks, or even
Mm.
lose a series. Like it's just going to happen. But the fact that it's, I mean, as old coaches and just most older baseball players and whatever kind of think of the season like,
Mm.
but like Bobby Cox, he would always say that he just wouldn't really look at the standings until like, or even care until like June
Mm.
1st, just concentrating on winning the series every time. Um, and there was an interview with Travis Darno talking about that as well. He's like, I don't really look at the standings for the most part. I just kind of, I go out there and I want to win every series. Um,
Mm.
and that's exactly what we're not doing. So,
Mm.
um, you know, it, April is a weird month for the MLB you can have anybody doing pretty well, and you're not really getting a great glimpse into what really the future is going to look like. But it's taking our players a little too long. Some of them, especially, a little too long to heat up. And then you have players like Matt Olson who are really hot from the get-go, and now he's been on a pretty steep decline. At the beginning, he got the 3-run homer today. That's pretty much the only thing he's done for a while. At the start of the Cubs series, he had a 333, and at this point, he's got a 283. I can't see OPS, but not. He used to be like the only person that would come up and be like, "Oh, here comes a hit," and I mean now those like I saw some comment on I like watched the highlights from the Mets game the last night, and the top comment was like, Riley and Darno are the only people keeping me sane right now, which is pretty true.
Yeah. You could sprinkle some Travis Demeritte in there.
Yeah.
But
that's like
a
welcome surprise.
Oh,
like
absolutely.
I'm not gonna put pressure on Travis right now. Like, so he's so new still, and is not supposed to be a starter. Like, he's doing great, and I really appreciate how well he's been doing, and he's a really cool player. But he goes up and strikes out. I'm not gonna be like, damn it, Travis.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you're like new guy, 8-9 hole hitter.
But if I just kind of thinking sporadically still, if I asked you who do you think the worst starting player in our lineup is right now, who would you say?
Like offense or
Offense.
pitching?
Like, who's consistently starting, not just like anybody.
Yeah,
so not like Arcia, not
like Heredia, yeah, nothing like that. Honestly, Duvall, I want to say.
That's who I wanted you to say, yeah.
Yeah, like
he's done. Like we've talked about how he's. I'll let you speak in a second, but just like we talked about how, God, jeez.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Dead ball.
Yeah.
Dead ball.
Talked about how what Duvall's gonna do. He's gonna strike out a bunch, and he's basically just gonna hit when there's people on base, and he's gonna hit when there's 2 outs. But
yeah, very good at that.
And I mean, not having him at the first half of last year, and really just having him when we really needed him, and he really came in clutch. We just mainly saw his clutch ability, and then seeing him in the playoffs. But he should not be in the 6 hole right now. And I mean, we don't have. You look through this lineup, and I mean, at everyone's best ability, this should be a really dangerous lineup, but we just kind of. There's too many on a daily basis. I feel like too many people are all or nothing, and they just fold really hard. And then there's all of a sudden you have so many 3 and outs. It's hard to get anything rolling. And I feel like we have gotten to 2 outs much quicker this year than we did even last year. Because last year it was just like a problem with scoring with runners on base. This year we hardly have any. For instance, David O'Brien. That's tough.
Yeah, so tough.
David O'Brien tweeted out something. It was I'm gonna try to find it again specifically, and then let you talk about Duvall a little bit. About how many solo home runs we had in a row was like almost an MLB record, or it's just like the most in
Mhm.
however long. But yeah, what else were you gonna say about Darno before I interrupted you?
No, you're good. Well, with Duval, I think the exception is, or kind of what like, my like kind of like I mean it's essentially what you just mentioned. It's the fact that like last year he would come up to the plate and if anyone was on base, he's getting them in. Like he was an RBI guy, like pretty sure he had like 120 something RBIs last year, which is just kind of insane. But this year, like he's never really in that position because we just don't get people on base. It's all like solo home runs, and then like on occasion, like obviously like a little bit of a higher probability, but like on occasion we're getting people home from second and first. But yeah, Duval's just been a bummer because like it
He's
like
he's mainly accredited for like home runs and RBIs.
yeah
Looking at this
yeah
now, I don't freaking understand, but he has 11 RBIs, which
hmm
is tied for second on the team.
yeah
He has the same amount of RBIs as Albies and Darnell
hmm
somehow, but has a 184.
yeah, and he's down to 174 at the moment.
His OP,
507
his
OPS.
OPS, yeah, 523 OPS.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, yeah, he's getting stuff in when it matters, kind of
Mhm.
still, but
Mhm.
just putting him like out there for every like an everyday player, he's just a hole. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, this was the stat. So when Alex Dickerson finally hit that home run, the day before he was DFA'd,
Yeah, for real.
he it was a 2-run homer, and it was a that snapped a string of 15 consecutive solo home runs that we had,
Mhm.
which was the longest streak in Braves history since 90 or since 60, and
Mhm.
longest in the MLB since Texas had 18 in a row in 2020. Um, so I feel like that's what just been happening. What I was gonna say with the 2 outs thing, like we get to 2 outs and then people start hitting, um, putting stuff into play, and then that someone gets out after. It doesn't matter how many people we get on base. But oh, jeez. And
Yeah.
that's another thing that's just been seemingly what's killed us all year. That what just
Okay.
happened in the Mets game is soft contact. We're getting
Yeah.
the
Your all's
worst.
broadcast is like 15 seconds before mine.
Such
God
an
damn it.
idiot.
So,
Such an
now I see
idiot.
it. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
um,
A fucking blue pit.
yeah.
Ugh.
From Pete.
Pete Alonso.
He did that deliberately
Mm.
too. Like these, this
Yeah.
is this
He's
is happening to
poked
us
his bat. Yeah.
deliberately. Um, there's just I don't know how you're supposed to deal with that. Um, yeah, I thought there's been so many points in this season, just kind of like last season, again, where I was like, oh, this is the turnaround.
hmm
It just hasn't happened. I feel like I'm just in a loop. Um,
Yeah. I guess, the one thing to keep in consideration, obviously, is that it's just May now. I mean, the season started a month ago, and like realistically, like we're pretty cynical and we tend to like be a little harsh, but realistically, there's like plenty of time. And I think I how long is Rosario out for? Did we get a like
they said that he could be out until the All-Star game.
really?
Yeah, they
So that's
said,
what, like mid-July?
yeah, they said 8 to 12 weeks.
Goodness gracious. I didn't even realize that.
I think trading for a guy like a fourth outfielder type, like a platoon bat, like a lefty, like
Hmm.
Jock Peterson.
Yeah,
I think comes to
I
mind.
thought that's where you were going.
That would be, yeah.
I think that would fit well.
Yeah. And then maybe like
yeah.
a
I
bat
could
who's
see him in
not
a.
doing super well, who we could use like as a DH spot, like maybe from Miami. I don't
Yeah,
know.
for real.
Yeah.
Bring him back, man. There's a part of me like looking now that you mentioned the uh All-Star game, thinking trade deadline. There's a part of me that just feels like we're gonna get Jorge Soler back this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Like something about it just feels right. Uh,
We're gonna trade like
um,
You know,
just like the Duvall trade, like we're gonna trade one of our worst prospects for Soler, and they're gonna give us
that
money too.
that was still one of the most unbelievable trades I've ever seen in my life.
Oh
Like
yeah, and they had an
even
extra
Marlin,
year of control over him too.
yeah, exactly. Like even Marlins fans who at that point were like, they kind of knew nothing was gonna happen with their season. That's still bullshit. Like to get what Alex Jackson for like Adam. I don't know. I don't know.
They also
I mean,
traded
I
Alex
love
Jackson away for like a relief pitcher.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on the merry-go-round.
you
He's a tough one to
know,
watch.
you know. I do think like maybe. I mean, we're watching the Mets play the Braves right now, all three of us. But I do think like Dominic Smith would fit really well in I can't say
Dude,
that with a straight
It's,
face.
I
yeah.
I hate Dom Smith so much.
I think
Just
even Mets fans like kind of have a love-hate with him too.
yeah, he's just
What's your brother think of him, Sam?
Oh yeah, yeah. So for everyone that doesn't know, I come from like a very Mets family, and uh, like my dad is a huge Mets fan. My brother started watching baseball at a young age, so he's a Mets fan. I was always into the Braves. I never really like cared too much, and then in recent years, I've just become like way more accustomed to the Braves and like going to the games all my life and stuff. But that's besides the point. Um, Jack, my brother, does not like Dom Smith. But he has been texting my phone a lot recently, letting me know how this series has been going. So that's been fantastic.
yeah.
It
Mm.
sounds like Jack.
Yeah, he's no, he's like the classic just dejected Mets fan. Like he's a ride or die. Like he's gonna watch every game, even if they're like 50 games below 500. Like he's gonna ride it out, and I just feel so bad because like I joke with him. Right now Mets are obviously doing pretty well, but I always ask, well, what are you gonna do in September when they like fall apart? Because that's like their thing. But hopefully this year is the same old Mets, but they're looking good. Uh,
I honestly kind of want to talk about them for a little bit. I know that
yeah,
this is the
Ooh.
yeah,
Rangers Cubs thing, but now that we
yeah.
started, I I've always gone back and forth with who I've hated more in the division between the Mets and the Nationals.
Mm,
It's 100% the Mets right now, obviously, because the
mm,
Nationals are just everyone's punching bag, even though we lost a series to
yeah.
them. But
God, yeah.
I, this ump's having
We
a
lost
bad
the
time
series
right
to the
now.
wait, did we tied the series with the Reds, right?
Yeah.
At least we did. We
Yeah, the
tied.
Reds,
Okay,
the
good.
Reds, the worst team in baseball right now, have 3 wins, and 2 of them came against the Braves,
Ugh.
which is just,
Anyways, yeah,
which they did play
intro.
well. I will say they played well when we
Yeah,
played against them.
yeah, yeah. Maybe we
Um,
made them look good. Yeah, intra
maybe we did.
division though. Mets, Nationals, Phillies. Fuck the Marlins.
I'm fine with the Marlins for them.
Yeah, Marlins. Yeah. Well, they just plunk Acuna. Like that's their thing.
Yeah, well, Jose
It's,
Arena isn't on their team anymore.
yeah.
And
He's on the Tigers. Tigers, I think.
he was. I don't know if he still is. He kind of sucks.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure he fell off pretty hard. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's on the Brewers now.
Wow. They're probably gonna
Oh,
turn him into some
he
good
literally
bullpen arm.
he literally just got DFA'd yesterday.
Oh.
No. So we got the better
Sick.
end of that deal.
Yeah.
They're poverty.
2.5 years later, he finally gets his karma.
Mm. After all this time.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I personally don't like I don't hate I don't like dislike the Mets. I'm gonna be honest, just because like with my family and like that whole dynamic, they've sort of kind of indoctrinated me into like the whole like lovable losers thing. Like I get it, like Mets, lol Mets or whatever. Like fuck them, but I'm personally a big Phillies hater.
Yeah,
I do not like the Phillies at all.
yeah.
There's like I respect Bryce Harper, but like that's just someone I don't think I could like. If
hmm
you know what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
could like him now on my team. I think he's gotten a lot better. I wouldn't have
hmm
liked him like when he was 18. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I do like I with the Mets, I like I will cheer for them in some games, like not when they're the division leaders. But
hmm
like last year
Yeah.
when they didn't even matter, like I would cheer for them
hmm
against the Yankees. I didn't cheer for them one time, but I think they were still winning the division then against the
Yeah.
Yankees. But
I
uh,
think one thing with the Mets is like they've always been the lovable loser, but
yeah,
I
kind of.
don't feel any sympathy now that they have the wealthiest owner in baseball. I like have
Yeah.
no sympathy now
I also just
because it's like
really,
now it's them, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. It's just oh
yeah,
boy, it just makes me so upset.
yeah. I also now there's a number of guys on the Mets that I like. Like I like Carlos Carrasco, who's pitching right now. I like Pete Alonso. Um,
Yeah.
I,
Honestly, Lindor, I know that's a touchy subject, but I like
I,
Lindor.
I,
I think
I
he's cool.
Lindor just seems like I've said it. I said it before. He had all the stuff that happened, like when he fought Jeff McNeil and then lied about it in
Oh
the
yeah.
dugout. I said it before. Like I just never believed that he was a good guy. It just always seems so fake to me, and I stick with that.
Mhm.
There's been some things he seemed like he's been a better person this year since they're winning, but like also just starting the whole like him and Javi Baez doing the thumbs down thing and booing their own fans, like
Oh my God. I totally forgot about that.
yeah,
I
like
completely forgot about that.
like Mets fans, they're gonna, as long as you win, they're gonna root for you. So now they like Lindor
hmm
because he doesn't suck anymore. Um,
hmm
but still,
I
like,
there's one thing I've started doing more recently, and I have a lot of friends that are Mets fans, like from Queens in the area and everything, massive
hmm
fans. And I've begun equating them to the Yankees, and like they nearly punch me every time. Every time I bring it up, just because like I do think a lot of their players are really likable. Like it is impossible not to like Jacob DeGrom. It's
oh
impossible
yeah,
not
I
to
like
like that
Jacob
guy.
Degrom.
I mean, like you can't not like that guy. And then like I also like Pete Alonso, mostly for the car accident. I felt sympathetic towards
Oh,
him,
okay.
frankly.
That's
Um,
such a without
yeah.
context, Will. Just so strange.
No,
Because he got in
I
that
was
car
going for
accident, I
the
love him.
yeah, I know. I was
It's
But
going for that. But I don't know. I think they've sort of I think it's easier to hate them now because of
hmm
that whole I even forgot his name. What's his name? The billionaire? I always
Steve Cohen.
Cohen.
that's his name, Steve Cohen,
hmm
yeah. I
Yeah,
was about to
he's
say Steve I was about to say Steve Harvey and I was like, that's not that's not right.
Well, the one like kind of cool thing that the Mets have going for, in terms of their owners. Steve Cohen's like actually really active on Twitter, which is pretty uncommon.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
I'd honestly like I'd really like if we had a manager that like actually interacted with fans and like knowingly gave a fuck. Like the whole guise of like Liberty Media, even saying that out loud just sounds like apocalyptic. Like it's just weird. Like the fucking overlords at Liberty Media just own us. But
yeah, I
yeah.
I think doing that comes with, pros and cons though, because like
Right, yeah.
he's said a number of things that are just like dipshit stupid and like
Do you remember
uh,
last year where he went into the
yeah, he went into the
they were going on
clubhouse.
some skip yeah,
And he's
gave
like,
a
he
speech.
told the fans too. He's like, "Don't worry, guys, I'm going in to talk to him," which is like something that you're like, "Yeah, I want to hear that," but then you're like, "Wait, if I were a
Wait, hold
player,
on.
if I were a player, and my general manager is like, I'm paying you money, like you guys
Uh,
need to get your shit together, because I'll just straight up
uh.
cut you." Like, like it's like I feel like the vibe in the clubhouse is just like, well, fuck this guy. Like,
Yeah, fuck
how
that.
about we all just suck and just show him. And then they did. And that's the story of the 2021 Mets. But this guy who's about to bat right now, I fucking hate him. I hate Mark
Canha.
Yeah.
He yelled at
Shohei.
Ohtani last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see that, Will?
Remind me. I probably did.
So
but...
he Ohtani just pitched like a little. I mean, it was close
he was
to
on
his head.
Oakland last year, right?
Yeah. He pitched close to Mark Canha's head, but he was not in any way like aiming for it. It didn't hit him. But so like Canha like fell down backwards, got up instantly, and then just stared at Shohei and like screamed at him as loud as he could.
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. Like, and Shohei was just like confused. He's like, "What do you?"
Yeah, like literally didn't know how to react. It was so weird.
Yeah, and
I think the outfield tandem of Brandon Nimmo and Mark Canha is like, I just do not like those people.
Whatever happened to Michael Conforto? Where's he playing now? I don't even know.
He is not playing anywhere.
Wow.
He apparently like no MLB team, not even like no MLB team wants him for the price that he is still looking for.
Yeah.
He was offered a qualifying offer with the Mets. I'm pretty sure he was.
He was.
Which was like, wait, can one of you
19
look?
million or something?
Can one of you look
That's
that
like
up?
18.6, 19 million around there, I think.
Hold on, let me look that up.
Which I mean, he didn't play well last year, and
18.4. Yeah.
Gosh, yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy.
Going in, coming out of your contract year, and not taking that, and you didn't do well. And there's a lot of there's injury concern with him as well right now too.
Well, he's out for the whole season. Like he had a season-ending.
He did
surgery. Yeah, very very low key. The other thing is apparently he the reason he had to get it was because he fucked up his shoulder at a bachelor party. I think. Yeah,
was that in the off season?
Yeah, I think it was in the off season. So I guess it kind of makes sense why a lot of teams weren't touching it with a 10-foot pole, right? Like that was another thing I talked to my brother about. I'm like, why the fuck is Conforto not on a team? He's like, yeah, word on the street is he's super injured and probably can't play. And then sure enough, a few weeks ago, he had a surgery.
The only team, I saw this a while ago, I had to look up what team it was again. The only team that checked in on him was what's it called? The
Dodgers. Yankees.
Rays.
I just keep saying more. Hold
Nationals.
on, wait.
Reds.
Dang it. Shit. I'm trying to.
Angels.
Damn it.
Blue Jays.
Oakland Athletics.
White Sox. Indians.
Tigers.
It's the Long Island Ducks. The Long Island Ducks were of the Independent League. Were the only team that checked in on him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I kept trying to.
Their website. Sorry, go ahead.
I kept trying to type in ducks, and I kept typing in fucks, and it just wasn't.
I hate when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, their website says Long Island Ducks baseball, affordable family fun on Long Island. That's good for them.
Yeah, they could offer Conforto the 5-year, $100 million contract he was looking for.
All right, bro. Let's get down to business. I do think that we talked about it earlier, but honestly, just kind of circling back to the Braves. Obviously, we have some issues right now, and I want to know realistically what y'all would think about, or who you think we should look at or be trading for. Is there anyone on the market? Because right now we have an infield. Swanson's picking it up. Darno's great. I think Darno's been my favorite person to watch this year, just because his 2020 was so incredible, and then last year kind of regrets it. Now he's just back to it. Obviously Acuna's back. Ozuna, I never want to see in left field again. But I think we need honestly, watching Marcell Ozuna try to throw someone out at home, it's it's just not gonna happen. Like even
Mhm.
if he's playing, like he
Yeah, I mean,
doesn't have an arm. Yeah,
he's. Let me see the last time he played in the field. Oh, he played. Why are we putting him in the field? Oh,
it
Acuna was
makes
the
no
DH.
sense.
Acuna was the
Yeah.
DH both of those games.
Okay.
But
Yeah. Gotcha.
that's another thing. I there's two. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna write it down. Hold
Yeah, that's a great idea.
on. Oh, Will, you wanted to end at 8:10. No, okay, but okay, I can't open my drawer. There's my glasses case is
That
stuck in there.
sucks.
My
Yeah.
glasses.
My glasses.
Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and address them then. The Acuna thing, I don't like bringing him in and just kind of going every other game with it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want him like I would have liked to just bring him in and then whenever we did, even if it was later than when we had brought him in, make him, have him play every day.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just he looks completely healthy, and he's trying to get back into the swing of things. Stealing bases is not a problem for him. He's done that
Yeah,
basically every
he's
time he's
killing it.
gone on to first and hasn't gotten caught yet. I think he's got 3 at this
Mm.
point. Um, the bat's not really there yet. He did almost get a home run. Was it against the Mets last night? Um, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, it was like bullshit. Um, it had a one like thousand expected like the expecting batting average on that like hit was it rounds up to 1,000. It would have been probably like 950,
Mhm.
but yeah, and he had an XBA of 1,000 on that. Like it literally was like supposed to be a hit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Manfred's juicing the ball or not juicing the balls, but
Well, if we're
that's just been a weird thing.
like the quick interjection, like the Chris. Did y'all
Mm.
see the Chris Bassett interview?
No, what'd he say?
They were asking him about like why people are seeming to get hit in the head more now and just hit more in general, and he said like
Hmm.
that all the balls are different. Like there's not a consistent MLB baseball this year, and
Oh.
they're like you'll get one ball, one pitch, and a different ball the next. That's just like you have to grip it differently and everything. And he said in the interview, the MLB doesn't give a damn.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
um, so I respected that. But anyway, yeah, I would like Acuna to be playing every day because I really don't feel like his energy is gonna be there until
Hmm.
he is, able to play consistently. It's just kind of like a nice
Hmm.
gift ever so often when he's there.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but he needs to, be able to play consistently, get in the groove of things, and especially like I would rather him just do the initial plan, which is DH for 2 weeks and then start in the field, than have him DH. Like we had him play right field and then we had him play DH and then right field and then DH and now he's playing right field again tonight and he's doing that every other. I just start with DH, let him get
Hmm.
used to hitting, and then put him back in the field.
I kind of agree because his bat's obviously like he's an electric player and he steals bases, but his bat's the best part of his game. And I think you're kind of right. Like by having him out there every so often and not just, committing to the DH, I feel like it's got to throw you off a little because then you're in the mindset of like, oh, this is two-sided versus like, oh, let me just get back in like the literal swing of things. So, yeah.
Yeah. The other two just player points that I kind of gathered from this series. Jesse Chavez has not allowed a run in a Braves uniform
Hmm.
this season, which is awesome to see. Um, gave up 2 hits in the first game, 2 hits in his next game, and then 1 hit in his last, and then went like 3 innings yesterday and gave up no runs. So he's doing great. At this point, he's now Okay, well he technically has a 0 ERA with the Braves, but
Let's go. He does. I feel like he tends to get put in like literally the worst on base situations ever though. Like, didn't he come in with bases loaded during the Muller start?
yeah, I don't.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm
I'm
not
pretty
sure.
sure he.
He got put
I'm pretty
on
sure he came in like.
today with 2 on and 2 outs in the
Yeah.
first game.
Yeah. No, he inherits some shitty stuff.
But second thing, Kyle Muller is not ready for the MLB right now.
Yeah. No, he's not. He's not.
Did he get
And
sent?
it's honestly, I think yeah. I think he got sent down. Will say like it's probably better to know like, not immediately, but this happened last year where he had like 2 or 3 like really good games, and then all Braves catchers was like, oh fuck yeah, like this is gonna turn out well. Like he's looking really solid, and then he just went like total Tukey Toussaint mode. Oh, come on.
Yeah. That's we have a glaring hole in or we have 2 glaring holes in our rotation right now if you include Charlie Morton.
Yeah.
I do think Charlie's gonna get
Yeah.
better. I mean, they've been talking about like, and we do forget that like last year, his first 5 starts he was awful. Like I remember, and his ERA was technically like, it was only like between 6 and 8 in the first 5, but it should have been even worse because there was that one start he had against the Phillies early in the year where I think that was the first home game back with full capacity, and he went .1. He technically only gave up 1 run, but he like loaded the bases, and I don't know. I guess I don't remember how he got none of those runs were earned, but all of those runs scored, and he only went .1.
Yeah.
So, and then obviously after the second half of the season, he was like an ace for us with like a 2.5 or something.
Yeah.
So I'm not particularly concerned with him right now, and he's been better each game to me. Even today, like he gave up 5, but at least he's been able to finish and go at least far enough to not wear out our bullpen.
Yeah.
And I mean, after those 2 innings, he really didn't give up much and was doing pretty well. And I saw his post-game interview, and he talked a bunch, but he seems to kind of, obviously he's aware that he's not doing well, but he seems to have a plan to try to fix things. But there's a spot there open right now. Freed's doing well. Ian's doing better now. Kyle is our best pitcher right now, which is incredibly surprising. Except if you listen to me, because then you would have known that he's going to be the breakout pitcher of the year. But and I mean, like, for what Bryce Elder brought, like, it wasn't bad. I still, if he ever like comes back to the MLB, I think that that's exactly how he's just going to be, is just like a 4 or 5 hole guy. Like he's a very solid 5 hole guy for the future if we just need somebody to go out there. I don't think that he's really a great solution, but I mean, we just started this year with like so many options. And now we're incredibly limited. I still don't really understand not starting Strider at this point. Maybe he gets that start in place of Kyle Muller now.
I wonder if it's like, I wonder if they're worried about his arm, because that dude just pumps like 100.
Yeah, but I mean, they run him out there for like 50 pitches sometimes.
Yeah, I guess you're right about that.
Oh my god, with his soft contact, are you kidding me?
Yeah, fucking bullshit. Bullshit.
But it's been the same. Also, shout out to William Woods. Really cool story
Oh
with
yeah,
him.
he's been
Like
really good to me.
21st ranked prospect in our farm system. Like, I mean, you go below like 10, and you're just like, this guy is probably never gonna touch like Truist Park. Um, but
Mm,
really cool for him, from guy from Tennessee, and
yeah.
he's like 23, 24, something like that. But I mean, he looked pretty good too.
Mm,
Um, our bullpen is
yeah.
fucking stout, like just
Yeah.
so good.
Hands down, like the best. Yeah, like
Um,
hands down the best part of our team, I think.
yeah, but our rotation cannot produce. And
Yeah.
whenever like we go into like whenever our starters have a quality start, we've won basically every game. Um,
Yeah.
because you get into our bullpen and you just don't score. Um, you might get like a solo shot off of Will Smith, but like he's gonna give up one of those like every 4 times he goes out there, and we know that. Oh shit. Okay.
No.
Oh.
Dead
Oh.
ball.
Yeah.
Oof.
Um.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he whacked that.
When Ian goes out, I'm comfortable. When Kyle goes out, I'm comfortable. Right now, he's losing. I mean, he's still, he's rolling right now.
He's
Um,
holding it down. Yeah.
but we figured out Bryce Elder was not the answer. I honestly, I don't. I mean, he was kind of a placeholder for Kyle Muller to come back, but just with
Hmm.
how bad Kyle did, like, clearly he's not ready. I don't think
Yeah.
sending Elder down was that warranted. Not the
Yeah.
best, but I just yeah, like I'm looking at this combo of Bryce Elder and Spencer Strider that happened in the second game of the Rangers has happened twice now. That happened with the Padres when we lost to Yu Darvish, I think.
Mm.
And Strider's going pretty far in the pitch count every time that he's up there. Um,
Mm.
and I mean, other than I really had my like just kind of idea of him turned around after he had that terrible outing against the Marlins. But I mean, that's the only time he gave up a run, I think, or there might have been one other time. But I mean, against the Rangers, he went 3.25 Ks, only 33 pitches. Um,
Mm.
so I don't get not trying to start him at this point. And I mean,
Yeah,
even if you're gonna like designate it as a technical bullpen game, I think that's better than putting out a fifth starter right now for us because we just don't have one.
well, I think on paper,
On paper, we do, but in
and
terms of production, we
well,
don't.
yeah, like on paper, I hope it's just like start of the season slump, but like Charlie Morton, Ian Anderson, Max Fried, Kyle Wright, like potentially Spencer Strider, that should be really good. Maybe Wasker Noah picks it up soon.
I think you
Yeah,
just need to go
very
straight to
glaring.
the bullpen.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
don't see Inoa as a viable option for the rest of the year as a starter.
Yeah.
Um, maybe he, makes me eat my words, but I'd rather just see him in the bullpen. I don't think Elder is really. He's worst case scenario, and he will give you, they'll score like 4,
Hmm.
and he'll go 5, and that's
Yeah.
what you have to work with. Kyle Muller's clearly he should be the guy that is there. Like has the highest ceiling of all of them, but is still not ready. And
Hmm.
I don't know what the hell happened with Tucker Davidson. I guess it's just kind of the same
Hmm.
with Muller, but uh, and then Soroka, who knows what's going to happen with that? But I mean, he's not going to be back till June. Um,
Hmm.
I would have really liked it if we had like looking, especially now, if we had signed just one veteran starter who'd fill in the 4 or the 5 hole,
Mm-hmm.
like Brett Anderson, or but that was the main guy, yeah, Brett Anderson that I kind of
Mm-hmm.
wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then seeing like the Giants sign Carlos Rodon, who is currently leading their team in WAR for like $80 million for. I want to see the actual Carlos Rodon. It's very cheap for him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it was just 2 years, $44 million,
Oh,
which
what
is
are we paying
such a
Chuck? Like,
weird contract. We're paying him
it's like, se-
20.
did they bump him up? I felt like it was like 15 or 17.
Um, 1 year, 20 million. It was 15 last year.
Okay. Okay.
So
Okay.
he's getting more than Charlie by 2 million this year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Matt Olson went into a massive slump, which really didn't help. Acuna's back, and it seemed like he gave us the spark against the Cubs. But I just think once he's starting every day, I'm not gonna rest it all on that, because I said that once he got back, it would kind of turn everything around. Um, but do you see this on the screen?
Yep.
First in home runs, extra
Fraser.
base hits, average exit velocity, and second in hard hit percentage in the NL.
Yeah. Just literally just unlucky. Ugh.
The thesis that this will be my last point, but just
Mm-hmm.
what would be y'all's guess in terms of runs per game um, from 2019 to this year? What would you think would have happened 2019, 2020, 21, 22? Like in terms of increase, decrease, whatever.
Like, sorry, you said
In terms of
from
runs created per game like in the NL from
yeah,
2019 to now, because 2019 no DH, 2020 there's a DH, 2021 no DH,
yeah.
2022 DH. What would
Well, I mean, I don't know the extent of how many runs added DH would have, but I feel like it'd be pretty significant. Like, because I mean, the pitcher was just like a black hole. Like nothing ever happened there.
How would you adjust for the like? Did you only do the first 60 games? Because 2020 was 60 games.
Yeah, 2020 is
So did
only
you only
marked as
do the
60
first?
games.
No,
No,
but did you
like
do?
it's season as a whole.
I see. Okay.
What would be your guess for just like the shape of the league, National League average?
Like batting average.
No, no, no.
I
Like
think I'm a
in
little
in
confused.
terms of runs per game. What
Yeah.
would you expect from 2019 to now? How would you expect the movement in terms of increasing and decreasing? So like
I feel like a
Oh,
decrease. I feel like it would.
from 2019 to now.
Yeah, I would.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. I feel like it. Yeah. Yeah. What did you find?
um in 2019 the league average runs created per game in the NL was 4.78, and this year it's 4.11.
Hmm.
So I was right.
You were right. Yeah, it's gone down. It's gone down every year from 2019. 478, 471, 446, 411. Looking at the Braves specifically, we went 528, 58, 491, and this year we're at 389.
Hmm.
Um, uh, and the main reason that we shot up the first year, um, out of all DHs, including the AL, Marcell Ozuna had the most runs created per game as a player by 2 runs per game.
Hmm.
And the way that stat is measured, like specifically runs created per game, is if you had them bat every single time in the lineup, how much they would produce. The league average is like 4, and Marcell
Yeah.
Ozuna had 10.8 that year.
Oh, wow.
Which something that was surprising too is that the average DH in the NL had a higher runs created per game than in the AL, even though we weren't prepared for the DH.
Yeah.
And yeah, this year I went and looked at every single DH who has played the most games at DH up to April 28th, and the Braves had the lowest player, which was Alex Dickerson at 0.8.
Yeah, he was rough to watch.
Which the news with him, so he got DFA'd, but he got outrighted to AAA. So the way that works, Will, you can check me on this. Like, if you get DFA'd, but you're still in the minors, you're not on the 40-man roster anymore, right?
No, you can be, if you're DFA'd and like sent to the minors.
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure you can still be on the 40-man. It depends on.
Would you have to DFA somebody else? I guess you could DFA somebody else and then sign them in.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's the way it goes.
Okay, so he could technically
or at
come
least
back
send
again.
someone down. I'm not entirely sure.
I think if you have somebody on the 40-man, the only way to get them off of the 40-man is to DFA them. Or like put them on the
waiver. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess there's a chance that he could come back this year. And apparently, like, his hard hit rate, his barrel percentage, and like exit velocity were all at the highest of his career. So he was really just having a bad time with like placing the ball, I guess. I don't know. So maybe he can be helpful, if not some point this year or sometime next year. But yeah, this was a kind of a sporadic episode. Barely talked about the Cubs series or the Rangers series, but at this point they all just kind of meld together. They seem the same.
They're not important.
Nah, who cares? I mean, it's May now. I wouldn't be as concerned if the Mets were not doing as well as they are. Again, you can just look at it from the other perspective. It's like, it's April. The Rockies are good. The Diamondbacks are like not terrible.
The White Sox are like bad.
Awful.
Yeah, yeah.
And also
even the A's are hanging in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have like 2 people go to their games. I feel so bad for Pache.
Yeah, dude, he's so, like, he's
so nice.
Yeah, he's all the stuff that's been on social media about him, like, he interacted with kids before a game. They're like, "Oh, I want to come see you," and he's like, "I'm gonna try my best to come and like autograph stuff," and then he did. And also when he left Atlanta, like, talked about how heartbroken he was.
Yeah.
That's like the main reason at this point I'm still angry at Freddie, is because of losing Pache and Langoliers.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, we are 2.5 games into the Mets series. This is kind of seeming like one of those games where we already lost. Even though Kyle's dealing now, got eaten up in the first. Got a runner on first, or Olsen got a leadoff double, moved him to third with 1 out, and then couldn't get him home. Ozuna's looking pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
It's either just strikeouts or pop flies.
Yeah. It's a touchy subject. What's your all's opinion on the Bauer thing? Ozuna. Because, like, personally, like, if you're gonna, like, I don't know. I think if you're gonna suspend Bauer, I mean, you have to suspend Ozuna. I think you have to. Like, I think it's pretty terrible that it's like.
I think
out there.
I obviously I've talked about it before. I think Ozuna has the right to play now at this point, because the judge was like threw out the case and it turned into a misdemeanor. And I've also seen the video before. It's not, like he just basically pushes his wife's neck. It's not good. Like I wouldn't be like, oh,
Yeah.
that's funny. They're
Yeah.
just messing
The
around.
reason I laughed,
But
I'm actually watching the Mets broadcast, and they
oh,
just zoomed in on like 3 Mets fans who are passed out, like dead asleep. Sorry.
well,
Oh God.
they just hit a
Fuck.
home run, Will.
Run.
Are you serious?
You
Oh my
bastard. Thanks for
god.
You all are
laughing.
like
You
20.
bet.
You all are like
Yeah.
20 seconds
Yeah,
before
you
me.
you
Oh yeah, there
bastard.
it is. There it is. Yep. Yep.
Oh, we can't. We gotta.
That's not my fault. That's not my fault, guys.
Yeah,
I swear to
okay.
God.
But yeah, I think it's bullshit. I think both of them should be able to play. The only reason that I am, in any way fine with it is because it's the Dodgers and it hurts them. Um, but I mean, I wouldn't call Trevor Bauer like a nice person. Um,
Oh, he seems like
so
such a douche.
so I don't
Yeah, he is
necessarily
not a good
feel
guy.
terrible for him, but like he should be allowed to play. And he
Yeah.
does bring a good element to the sport in terms of just like making it more exciting. I did like his like sword thing where he'd do off the side, and he also like supports people being louder and having more
And fun.
reactions. Yeah. But yeah, I mean the case was thrown out, and
Mhm.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, in terms of like
yeah, I'm
the
just
MLB and everything, I
So
think it's
that's
ridiculous
that's
that
why it's
this has been
ridiculous
one.
because the case has been
Yeah.
thrown out, but like the MLB is being like, oh, but like we have more authority than the U.S. judicial system. Like, I think it's mainly just because of how much shit he's talked about Rob Manfred. Like, I feel like that's got to have something to do with it, and also just fear of like having somebody like him play for like I don't know people attacking the MLB or something. Um,
Mhm.
and like I don't know. There's a lot I could say, but won't. I think it's stupid.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah, I'm going through his Twitter right now. That's just such a. I will say it's tough to make the argument that like it's fine for Ozuna, but not for him. But obviously, it's a very touchy subject, and what happened happened. So,
Yep. Well,
mm,
um, Braves are, as Will talked about last week, we're kind of in the middle of our gauntlet right now, or just started, not in the middle. We have just started our gauntlet with New York, and then Milwaukee's honestly not been great so far.
yeah,
And
they're also. Wait, I thought the Brewers were really good right now. They're 15-8.
they are?
Yeah, they're 15 and
Well, I
8.
guess
They're
they
really
they
good.
won a bunch in a row. Because like last I saw, they
Yeah.
weren't doing too well. Um, Woodruff's got a 5 ERA something right now, so he's not
Hmm.
on it. Burns is good. Um,
He's playing the Reds now, so that should go down like a whole 4 points on that ERA.
uh-huh. But we got Milwaukee, Boston, San Diego, and Milwaukee again, and then at Miami,
Hmm.
which is not very great. And
Yeah.
then Philly and Miami. Which then
Mhm.
after that though, like let's go through the whole season right now. But just like after that, it's Arizona, Colorado, Oakland, Pittsburgh, Washington, Chicago.
Oh, good.
So it's just like a massive hill it's just a giant slide. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
but yeah, we have Anderson tomorrow against the Mets. And we do not have a starter lined up right now against Milwaukee, but the second two games are Fried and Morton.
Yeah.
Uh, maybe Morton can find it. I don't know, but
We'll see.
who is y'all's guess for who is gonna start the first game against Milwaukee? It's not Freed, Morton,
Strider.
Wright, or Anderson. Okay. Will.
I feel like it's got to. I feel like he's earned it by now.
Will.
Excuse me, sorry, I was watching the game. What was the question? Sorry, I'm like 20
Who,
seconds
who do you
behind
think
all.
is starting the first game against Milwaukee? It's our 5 spot. There is not a person slotted there right now. It's not
You
Freed,
said
Morton, Wright, or
Strider,
Anderson.
right, Sam?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
I'd
did.
probably say Strider too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I don't see any other options.
I would like that to be the case.
hmm
I mean, I think you do what we did with Yanoa, like in 2020, and you call it a bullpen game. You let him go however long he can. Once he gets into trouble, maybe pull him if you're not feeling super strong about him going 6 or whatever. But call it a bullpen game and put Strider out there and let him go as long as he can. What's the problem with that? I don't see a problem with that. Of all the young people, like of all the people that we have as options to start, besides the 4 that we have right now, that is the only one that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. I get where you're coming from. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap up. we gotta watch the end of the. I'm hoping Braves can pull this one out. I feel like it might happen because the Mets bullpen is also trash.
Is it?
They're really bad. Yeah, they don't have a good bullpen. They have a good closer, and that's about it.
Ottavino has been pretty good. Trevor May is pretty good.
I guess that is true. Trevor May, I thought he was like really bad.
He hasn't done well this year, but last year he was pretty good.
Yeah.
He also kind of looks like your brother to me.
Trevor May.
Get confirmation on this real quick.
Yeah,
I've always just
he
thought
does. He does. Yeah, he really does.
Trevor May is Sam's brother.
That's very true. Wait, that's hilarious.
There's a picture of him somewhere with an extra tight Fortnite t-shirt. He's a big gamer.
I'm just seeing this now.
Do you see the picture?
I
Yeah.
thought you were talking about Jack. I was like, Jack?
No, God,
Fortnite things?
No.
All right. Well, I'll finish watching this heartbreaking loss. I am not optimistic. Oh, and the Phillies.
When are you ever, Griffin?
Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Fuck. Oh, it's. Damn it. Shit. Well, that fell. All right. Okay. See y'all.